Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher. Welcome to the Sweetwater Minute. This time out, we're joined by Mike Dorfman, CEO and founder of Trick Drums.
Nice to be here. Thanks.
Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate you coming in. You're going to tell us about some of the products and things you have going on. Some cool stuff here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So how did you end up with Trick Drums? What was the genesis of the company?
Well, I started playing the drums when I was 12 years old, and like a lot of people, was in my teen years, was into hot rods and cars. Wound up doing drag racing and being on crews for different race car teams. And one thing led to another, that knowledge I gained from working on race cars and race teams sort of sunk in, and from playing the drums I noticed things that didn't work right or I thought could be improved. It was that knowledge from car racing that we took and applied to percussion products.
So you're bringing in the knowledge of the materials, the construction techniques, and some of the efficiencies and things, or how did you apply that?
A lot of the materials, which are crafted in precision metalworking machines, solid materials versus die cast or stamp parts, which we can add a higher level of precision to. And then some of the mechanics that are on cars or airplanes or even in the machinery that makes these things really applies to this in terms of physics and moving, making assemblies move and things like that. So we have took that and applied it as well.
Right. So what type of areas were you seeing where there were weaknesses in the existing drum hardware?
A lot of easy adjustability was an issue. Durability was certainly an issue in a lot of different aspects of the pedal.
Right.
The main issue adjustability-wise was always trying to adjust the spring pressure. And so we completely changed the way the spring interacts with the pedal. Using the billet machined parts, we are at a whole nother level of durability and reliability for the player out there on the road that's really got to depend on these things. The precision that we can bring through the metalworking machines, the CNC equipment, gives you a smoother feel, a tighter fit on a lot of things, which then translates into that durability and the longevity that you'll get out of these pedals.
Right, and they're super responsive as well. You know, the feel of them and just the way they look, the way they're put together, it all feels so solid. The way they respond, I think, to the way the player uses them is really, really wonderful also.
Well, that's the point, is that the player has to be comfortable with it too. And these are a departure from the norm, what's been out there for a number of years. We've really redesigned this whole platform, and people have gravitated to it because it does perform, and they do get accustomed to it quickly, and I can't live without it.
Right. Right. So tell us what we have here. We've got 3 different pedals.
This is from the Pro 1V line, which is the first pedal line that we introduced. This is our top of the line, the Mac Daddy of the line, which is available in a short board, which people are most used to. It's got a heel block and then the footboard. And now what has really become the most popular is the long board, the one-piece footboard, which in our line we call the Bigfoot. So it has a cool, fun name. This pedal has a lot of really great features that are all usable. It's not novelties types of adjustments. If we start here, we have what's called our slide track adjustment, which what'll happen is when you first get the pedal, you'll put it onto your drum. You'll loosen these 3 screws first before you put it on, but then you'll get everything set up so that the pedal linkage is just missing the front head. That way you're not traveling any more distance over center than you need to. So the pedal operates in more of a sweet spot. After you've done that, you'll lock this back down. So now every time that you put the pedal onto the drum, you put it on. Once the hoop hits here, it's a memory lock. So it hits here, it nests. You don't have to constantly get down on your hands and knees and see if the linkage is missing or if it's in the right place. It's there. Now at the end of the evening, when you're done playing or when you need to move on, you open your spring-loaded clamp, you pull your pedal off. No more of the wing nut, which can be a problem with the footboard hitting or anything like that.
And it's consistent every time.
Every time, it doesn't move.
Right.
So, and then the original Pro 1Vs were all direct drive. So on this particular, here we have our direct drive link with 3 positions of stroke length adjustment. The bottom being the longest, which will give you the most power because it's going to travel the furthest. And as you move this pin up, which operates off of a drum key, the stroke is going to get shorter and it's going to travel less distance, so it's going to be a little bit faster, but you're going to sacrifice some of the power.
Okay.
And from there, you have individual adjustments for your footboard angle as well as your beater angle. And they both operate right off of these two screws here, and you can adjust everything right from the drummer's throne. And going back to our original point about the adjustability of the spring, our spring just adjusts by turning this knob.
Nice.
As opposed to having to take the whole pedal off and deal with the jam nut and the rod and everything else. You can just turn this knob, and you can do all these adjustments while you're sitting at the throne, right? While you're at the drum kit.
Right.
If you needed to, you could even adjust this during a song if you had to.
Right.
So it really is a user-friendly design. The other unique thing about trick pedals is when you buy a double pedal, you get two actual working active single pedals.
Okay.
So you don't have the left side pedal, which is basically non-functioning unless it's hooked to the right side. So a drummer who buys these, that let's say has two individual bass drums, he's set. He has two working pedals.
Right.
But let's say the next night the stage isn't big enough and he has to play one kick drum and use it as a double pedal. No problem. You remove this cap, you put on your hub assembly, add your drive shaft, you have a double pedal.
Nice.
So it's another real unique feature to what we do here.
Right, adds versatility to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. And how do these two pedals compare to the one that you're showing us there?
They are identical with the exception of the footboard. Everything else is exactly the same, except here you have your heel block and your shortboard.
Okay.
Footboard.
So that's a personal choice thing for a drummer, which they prefer to use, or are there different techniques that you can use with the two types of platforms?
What's popular now is what they call the heel-toe technique, which really lends itself to the longboard, the open footboard. The shortboard, which is the original style kind of pedal, is more for a heel-up player, someone who plays on the ball of their foot.
Okay.
That's what favors that, but the Bigfoots really seem to sell tremendously well as opposed to the shortboards. Because
they're adopting that new heel-toe technique and using that.
You can do more things with the Bigfoot
than
you can with the other ones. But for guys that, no, this is how I play, this is how I've always played, this is all I want to do, and I'm used to that, then that's
the one to
fine.
get.
Yeah.
Right, great. Now, your company also makes a wide variety of drum accessories. You've got a couple of those here. I know you've got the cymbal topper, really caught my eye.
Yeah, this is rapidly, we get fan mail over this.
Yeah?
Anybody who plays out a lot or moves their stuff knows the disaster with the wing nut. You're going to get to the end, it's going to fly out of your hand, fall down, and travel off into the abyss.
And it's lost, yep.
Gone. Here, you just take this part, you thread it onto your 8mm cymbal stand, and from there, you just
clip it on.
Put it on. It's rock solid, it won't come off, and when you want to move the cymbal, just take it off.
Nice.
This part here allows you to adjust how much wiggle you have in the cymbal. You can add more or less depending. And this is not metal. This is a performance plastic called Delrin. It's very strong stuff, but it's softer than the cymbal, so the cymbal won't sustain any damage while it's riding on this. This will eventually wear out, but it is replaceable, just this part.
Okay.
So these parts will last you forever. This part will need to be replaced depending upon how often you play.
Sure, right.
So,
right. And what do we have here?
This is our version 5 drive shaft. To go along with the precision nature of these pedals, what we needed was a drive shaft universal joint that had no what's called backlash. So there's no play in it.
Okay.
But usually to achieve zero backlash or near zero, you wind up with a universal joint that's very sluggish and doesn't translate motion very nicely. So what we did is decide, no, we're going to put all individual roller bearings into this ring here, so that we have near zero backlash, and we have a still free-floating universal joint, so that everything stays and moves very, very nicely. This is standard issue on Pro 1V pedals and the Trick Dominator line, as well as we now manufacture this to fit on all the other major brand pedals. So this is the one piece of equipment that a drummer can buy who's using another company's pedal that will actually improve its performance. They'll noticeably see the difference in the lack of lash in there, plus the durability of this. This is all solid machine parts. You have stainless steel here. All this is machined aluminum, solid steel yokes. This is built for the long haul.
It is a beautiful piece of engineering.
Well, thank you.
Really looks gorgeous. Congratulations on these products. They're really wonderful. You've really taken drums forward you know, you're giving the players actually more tools that really improve what they're able to do with their instruments, and that's such a cool thing.
Well, we're glad to be a part of it.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for
Appreciate
having
your time,
me.
Mike.
Okay.
I'm Mitch Gallagher. Thanks for joining me for the Sweetwater Minute.